order a meeting of the Audit and Internal Controls Committee of the Nassau County Interim Finance Authority. I would note that all of the members of the committee are here, as well as all the other board members present. In the unlikely event that what we discuss in committee needs to be brought to the full board, they're welcome to ask questions during the committee meeting and not repeat them in the full board meeting, should we have any. So with that, the first item of the committee is to approve the minutes of our meeting in September. Would somebody like
So
to?
moved.
It's been made. Anybody want to second that?
Seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Petracca, made by Mr. Kessel. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Maggi is aye. I am aye, and that the minutes are approved unanimously. And the second and only item on our agenda is to discuss the audit plan with our newly appointed external audit firm, who are joining us by phone. I think, Carl, you're going to walk us through that.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you and good evening. It's a part of the committee's charter for NIFA's independent auditors to present their financial audit plan to the Audit and Internal Controls Committee for any questions or suggestions that the committee members may have. Otherwise, there's no action required on your part. This evening, we have Brent Jensen, who's the engagement partner assigned to our account from the EFPR group, who will remotely present their audit plan, which I've already reviewed. Brent?
Thank you, Carl. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Quite well.
All right, I'll speak a little quieter then.
Thanks. It's not on your end.
So you should have already received the document for the engagement plan from
We have.
us. Do you have that? Okay.
We do.
Looks good. So I'm going to skip forward to the first numbered page that starts with scope of services at the top.
Okay.
So within our audit plan, we expect to be performing the same audit services that were listed in your RFP and the ones you've had done in the past, which include us issuing an independent auditor's report on the financial statements, as well as an auditor's report on internal control in relation to financial reporting and compliance in accordance with government auditing standards, and an independent auditor's report on the investment compliance report as well. We would also potentially issue a management letter in the case that we found anything that was not operating at best practice in the course of our audit. Beyond that, we would expect to have meetings with this committee and the board of directors and potentially with management as well throughout the course of the audit process and at the close of the audit process. Our engagement team, as Carl already mentioned, includes myself as the engagement partner, as well as Douglas Zimmerman as a second concurring review partner. On every one of our engagements, we have a second partner assigned that is expected to perform the technical review or quality control review of our file and the financial statements before we issue. Helping me to manage the engagement team will be Aaron Woodward, who is a supervisor in our firm. Going forward to the next page on management's responsibilities. So these management responsibilities are laid out within our engagement letter, and I'm going to just kind of try and touch on them briefly here on the major parts. So management must first obviously establish and maintain an effective internal control system so that they can have accurate financial reporting and ensure compliance with laws and regulations. You must also safeguard the authority's assets, select accounting principles, and use reasonable judgments for accounting estimates, which will always be present within the performance of any significant financial statement such as this one. For us to perform an audit, we will be obtaining records from your staff. We will need their cooperation in performing the information that is requested. We will also need their cooperation at the end to record any material audit adjustments and to provide a management representation letter at the close of the audit. Additionally, should any non-attest services be required of us, we would ask that they evaluate the adequacy and results of those, as well as accepting responsibility for the oversight of our services. Going forward onto the next page of engagement objectives. We would plan and perform our audit to obtain a reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free of material misstatement. We do not provide an absolute assurance. There is really no such thing as absolute assurance. We will be testing items on a sampling basis throughout the audit to reach a reasonable level of assurance that the financial statements are not misstated. We are also providing tonight an overview of our audit plan to this committee.
Yep.
And I would ask, while I have you here, are there any known or alleged issues around fraud, noncompliance, or any other areas that anyone on the committee might see as higher risk, or anything that the committee might want special attention to?
I will speak for myself and say no, not that I'm aware of, and pause for a moment to see if any other members have anything to offer.
Not that I'm aware of either.
I hear none.
None.
It's not an audit issue, but I think you're aware that we work with a small accounting firm. It's probably a reasonably large-size accounting firm through merger now. Many years ago, realizing that it would be a fraction of the cost to work with them than to replace an employee who had left the organization, we began to work with them. And they're sort of an extension of management, so that's a factor. I know that they probably work through Carl, but you're comfortable with that arrangement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a number of clients that have similar arrangements.
Like I said, I don't think it's a risk. I think it's
outsource.
probably a source of less risk, but I wanted to make sure that was clear.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So just to go on from here, we will also obtain an understanding of the authority's internal controls. We will do so through walkthrough procedures, as well as substantive testing of a number of accounts. We will be testing compliance with certain laws, regulations, contracts, or grants, not for the purpose of providing an opinion, but to get an overall feel of the internal control system and ensure that we can give an overall opinion on the financial statements.
Right.
And we have provided an engagement letter to you, and we plan to, at the conclusion of the audit, communicate with this committee again should there be any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses that are identified. We will work with management to obtain a timely issuance of the financial statements and obviously maintain our independence throughout the audit.
Sure.
On the next page, on audit approach and plan scope, the audit plan we're putting before you today took a number of factors as important in putting together this plan. First of all, we looked at the prior issued financial statements from RSM with their opinion. We also take a look at the inherent risk of the authority best as we can feel it out from similar client base that we have. And look at materiality from the starting point of using the prior year financial statements and potentially adjusting it throughout the audit as necessary. And we also consider factors such as any staffing changes or other recent developments within the industry or your entity specifically, as well as new accounting guidance that might come out. So we put all of that into what is considered to be the COSO model, and we come up with risk level that we see over each objective. And that's really the approach there. So I'll go on to the second page of that. On page 5 of this document now, we lay out the areas that we see as being significant within the audit. I'm not going to just read this list off to you.
Yeah.
You obviously have this in front of you, but those are all the areas we see as significant to this audit. I will say that revenue recognition, specifically in relation to sales taxes, and then the long-term debt are the areas we see as probably the most significant or riskiest at this client.
It's $1 billion in revenue or more, and over $1 billion in debt. So on the dollars, that makes sense, right? That's where the money is too. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. On page 6, this gets a little repetitive. It goes a little bit more detailed into the approach.
Yep.
I would mention just that we do design our audit work to respond to a normal level of risk, and then we expand as necessary based on any risk that we additionally should find or any risk that you bring to us. And we use a combination of both substantive procedures and analytical review throughout the audit. I'm not going to really go through the rest of it. As I mentioned, a lot of it does get a little repetitive to prior sections.
And we've simplified matters.
So looking on to the
We simplified
audit-
matters by getting rid of the swaps.
What was that?
In the last refunding, we got rid of the swaps, which were probably the most esoteric accounting we had, other than OPEB. So that it should be simpler.
Yeah,
Right, in 21, in the refunding. Yeah.
the swaps are,
Yeah.
yeah, swaps are always an interesting bit of
We're not,
accounting,
we have-
especially under the.
we're out of them, and we have no
rules for
plans
them.
to get into new ones, so. Okay.
So on page 7, we talk about our audit timeline. So we are meeting tonight with the committee. We have already started our development of our audit strategy, risk assessment, and other planning documents. And the performance of those, they stay open really throughout the audit process, as any additional risks we find could affect all of that plan and could require changes. We are expecting our test work to begin in December. We actually have a call scheduled with Carl for next week to kick that off. And then we are expecting to finish our test work no later than February, so that we can report draft statements within February to be reviewed with this committee in March and issued at that time, so that you can meet your 90-day requirement as a public authority.
Super. And we expect, I
So
think that'll be.
that is the timeline.
You'll meet with us in person in March probably to do that, so we'll coordinate that around our meeting schedule? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we have, I have a number of times that I'm going to be in your area
Okay.
throughout March. It will be no issue at all for me to be
Great.
in person.
Other than where you live and what the weather might be in March, which we'll figure out. Good.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last page of this document is just to inform you of upcoming accounting pronouncements, 2 of which are required to be implemented this year. The accounting for GASB 100 and GASB 101 are new standards that will be implemented. GASB 100 really only affects you if you have a significant change in your financial statement that is determined to be an accounting change or error correction, whereas GASB 101 is an edit to the compensated absences guidance. And for the majority of our clients, I don't think it's really brought a material change, but it has potential to change the numbers within the financial statement for compensated absences. The other items listed here are for your information only as future standards. They are not applicable this year. And the good bit of news I have for you is that for the first time in a long time, GASB does not have a whole lot on the agenda coming up. And the standards that are coming up are really disclosure in nature rather than things that will change the numbers on the financial statement.
The number one issue on the minds of CFOs and government is cyber, nothing to do with accounting, right? At least according to some surveys I've seen. And it looks, I think for GAS 101, we only have 6 employees, and we've got a pretty good handle on compensated absences, so that should be pretty easy to handle. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And we're not planning on making errors, so but we'll deal with the changes should they occur. So, thank you. And you should, just so you know, for the record, for the public record, and for your own, if should there come a time, it's never been the case where you're not getting sufficient information or data or documentation from management, you have redress through the audit committee, either through me as chair or any individual member.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any questions for me at this time?
I'm looking around. I don't see any. I don't think we have to vote to accept the report. I can say we've received it at this point, and thank you for your time. Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you.
So moved.
Made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. This committee is adjourned. The meeting's yours.
Thank you. I want to, Lester, you want to do the Employment
Sure.
and Compensation Committee?
Absolutely.
Just so that people know, it's Lester, myself, Mo, and Chris Wright on that committee.
Thank you, Richard. You saved
Okay.
us some time. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Nassau County Interim Finance Authority Employment and Compensation Committee. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the minutes of the prior meeting.
Okay. The second order of business is
I want to
recommend.
vote on that. Somebody want a second?
Oh,
Second.
that's what I
Yeah,
asked.
I'll
her.
second
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I asked her then.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, sorry. The second item is the recommendation regarding employment and compensation. Little background, the Employment and Compensation Committee charter requires the committee to report to NIFA directors at least annually regarding any proposed changes to the charter. There are no changes to the charter. Requested action is adoption of the resolution recommending no changes to the committee charter. Do I have a motion?
Made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The action passes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Also made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. The Finance Committee, as chairman of the board, I hereby ask Rory Lansman if you would serve on the Finance Committee just for tonight.
It would be my pleasure.
Okay. And Lester, would you serve on the Finance Committee
It would also
tonight?
be my pleasure.
Okay, thank you, guys. The only action item, first of all, call to order. So it's myself, Mo, Lester, and Rory. The only action we have is approval of the minutes of the last Finance Committee meeting, January 16, 2024. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Okay, seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Committee is adjourned. Now, on the Governance Committee, we also have two vacancies. I serve as a member, and Mo serves as a member. I'd like to ask Rory if you would be chairman of the Governance Committee. And maybe I'll ask Mo, oh no, Mo's on it already. Chris, if you would serve on the Governance Committee?
Sure, if only for this fleeting moment.
For this fleeting
Yeah,
moment?
okay.
Yes. Okay,
We have two choices.
so you're the chair, here.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Does the chair get paid more than a regular member?
Twice,
Yes.
3 times as much.
3 times
Yeah.
0 is 0.
All right, so the governance committee is called to order. First item is approval of the minutes of the governance committee meeting on December 18th, 2023.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition, any abstentions? The ayes have it. Second item, readoption of self-evaluation form for NIFA directors and the taking of related actions. Is that a resolution?
Yes.
All
I'll
right.
move to readopt the form.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Any discussion? I feel I should have a discussion about some form that I'm committing myself to fill out, but I'll take
You
your word.
love filling it
I'll
out.
take your word
You're
for it.
welcome to read it
Welcome.
aloud, it's a tab 2.
Fill it out every year.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Lastly, a recommendation regarding governance committee charter and determination regarding performance of duties and the taking of related actions. Have a motion?
So moved.
There a second?
Yes.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. I move to adjourn the governance committee meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That one's always unanimous.
Okay. Very efficient, Rory. Very efficient. Okay. So now we're going to go into the full directors meeting. First, I'd like a roll call, starting with Mo.
Mo Mekshi, present.
Rory Lansman, present.
Richard Kessel, present.
Chris Wright, present.
Lester Petracca, present.
Okay, welcome everyone in the audience. First action item is approval of the minutes for the Board of Directors meeting held on October 22nd of this year. First of all, do I have a motion?
Made.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second. Are there any changes to the minutes, corrections, additions, or omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay. We now have the consideration of a number of county contracts. Martha, you want to come up? We've got CGI Technologies and Solutions.
Sure. The vendors for the contract that are being presented today, including CGI, were selected through an open competitive bidding process for the contracts that the county expects to fund with capital proceeds. Approval of such contract does not guarantee future borrowing authorization. The first item is the contract with CGI Technologies Solutions, NIFA item 530-24. CGI Technologies and Solution is the vendor selected as the best solution to replace the county's financial system, NASA Integrated Financial System, also known as NIFS. The term of the contract is 10 years, and the amount to be approved by this board is approximately $58.5 million. Charlie Casolaro, Chief Counsel to the Controller's Office, will be presenting the item to the board. Charlie, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Directors. Thank you, Evan, John, Connell. Thank you. Again, I'm Charlie Casolaro, Chief Counsel to our Controller, Elaine Phillips. With me tonight are three colleagues, Deputy Controller Jeff Schoen, Director of this project, Co-Director of this project, Anna Sousa, and Deputy Commissioner of IT, Joseph Giacovino. The other leader of this project is Deputy Controller Elizabeth Hill, but she's not here this evening. So Martha is quite right. This is a substantial contract to replace Nassau County's NIFS system. We went through the competitive bidding process. There were 7 responses. 3 of them were non-responsive. 1 of them was responsive and then not responsive, and there were top 3 that we evaluated. We chose CGI because of their pricing, but because also of their substantial time and hours that they were going to commit and personnel that they were going to commit to this project. They are completely dedicated. They committed 3 times the hours and the personnel that the other vendors and the other respondents proposed. CGI is government-based. This program will replace, it's called CGI Service, Software as a Service, what we call SASS. Advantage 4 Solutions will replace the NIF system, which is inadequate, antiquated. It's working on a DOS system from the 90s. Wow. The county is incredibly complex. We have reporting requirements, financial requirements, contract requirements, and this program can't talk internally to itself. This program that we propose will. And my colleagues, if you would like more of the functionality aspect, my colleagues will come up and give you more of the computer aspect of it, the technology aspect of it. This is a 10-year contract beginning in January of 2025, ending in December 31st of 2034. It has a capped amount of $58,500,000. It has 2 implementation tracks that we can choose. The first one is a 2-year period of development and implementation with implementation to take place January 1st, 2027. If we can dedicate the staff, and we are looking for additional staff for this project, and my colleague Anna Sousa will speak to that if you'd like. If we have the dedicated staff and we meet that 2027 goal, this contract will be $8.5 million less. We have a second track, which is if we don't meet that goal of implementation January 1st, 2028. And if we choose all the options included in this contract, we'll get to the $58 million mark. This contract, $58 million, has about $10.5 million that is set aside for options. We won't know what options we want to choose until we begin the design and implementation process all along. This is a needed contract. This is a needed piece of software. The Nassau County's, as I said, the financial system is very complex. Our reporting requirements are very complex. And this software will allow us to move into the 21st century. This was presented to the Rules Committee of the Legislature on November 13th, and it was approved unanimously. The legislators were very much behind it. The County Executive's Office is very much behind it. Every member and leader of the major departments in Nassau County, or all of the departments in Nassau County, and all of the leaders of the departments in Nassau County were involved in this process. They are behind it. We have the dedication. We have CGI and their incredibly expert team, and we feel that this program and this contract is well needed, and it's time for Nassau County to move into the next technological age. In terms of just the meats and potatoes of the contract, the county attorney's office drafted it with myself and CGI's attorneys. It has all our indemnification language, our warranty language, our breach language, our notice language. We're covered.
So your language, not theirs.
Our language, not theirs.
They're not happy.
Correct. Our language,
Excellent.
not theirs.
Okay, good.
And that was a little point of contention for a bit, but we resolved it. Our
Right.
language,
I
not
got you.
theirs. The county has certain requirements that it can't deviate from, and those requirements are in this contract. So I open it up to questions.
Can we ask some questions?
You may. I open up to questions.
So, a couple of things. One, CGI implemented a project similar to this before?
Yes.
Where?
Anna?
Yeah, and that's a fair question because
That's a great question.
of the other 6, 5 of them were sort of household names in IT, and this didn't immediately come to mind. So I'm curious if you know who their installed base is.
My colleagues will
That would be helpful.
And could you
Yeah.
just each identify yourself for the record?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Schoen, Deputy Controller. So CGI's software has been around for a long time, and largely what they're doing now is going from a modern system to an even more modern system, which is a cloud-based system, which is what they're selling to us now. Unfortunately, we're going from a system even earlier than that, which is the DOS NIST-based system. But they have had experience with doing that in Philadelphia, and they've done exactly this type of transformation.
So Philly, the municipality is a client?
Yes.
Of theirs?
Mhm. So they've done the exact same transformation or in the process of doing the exact same transformation from a NIFS mainframe-based system, mainframe, to cloud-based. We sort of skipped the in-between premise-based system.
And
Honestly,
did you check whether that was implemented on time and
Yeah.
We
What does the customer? What do their other customers think? Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
My name is Anna Sousa. I'm the project manager.
You have a big job.
For this project, yeah.
Just, you know. Okay.
She's the big gun here.
During the RFP evaluation process, we had interviewed 15 client references for all 3 vendors that were being looked at. But for CGI, we looked at 5. We spent almost 15 hours altogether just with those 5 client references. Suffolk was one of them. The county and city of Honolulu was also one of the.
fancy?
Yes, Arizona.
we get to go in
So
person?
we did. We looked at many. Yeah, it would be nice to have visited, but.
No, it wasn't in person, John.
No. But we, in addition to those 5, we also then expanded. As we had the demonstrations, we expanded, and we also talked to Nevada. We looked into the state of Massachusetts. They're also going through an implementation. A lot of them were not straight from like a mainframe system such as ours.
Yeah.
A lot of them were upgrading from a current CGI Advantage 3 solution to cloud-based Advantage 4. But it is still a major project to them in order to do that kind of implementation and upgrade. In New York, CGI clients are the state, New York City, Westchester, and Suffolk County. So they have familiarity with New York State, accounting regulations, rules, and they're very familiar with how we process our transactions here in Nassau County.
So that's great. That sounds very thorough, and that's great. The other question, you mentioned that the labor hours were 3 times that.
Yes.
Is that because they're slower than the other 3,
No.
or
No, not slower. They listened. What we did is when we had 3 days of demos with them, our staff grilled them. And one of the things that they were very concerned
And you
about.
sound very tough, by the way.
There's even tougher. But what we did was during those demos, it was clear they were presenting it as a Big Bang approach. We were starting to get nervous about the Big Bang approach. We felt that a phased approach would be more appropriate. And as a result of a phased approach, that means more time. And so they went back. When we asked for the BAFO, they went back and they gave us more time, which meant more money. The other vendor did not give us more time and reduced it by a little bit.
But honestly, that's where my follow-up questions were going to be. Normally, a couple of us are familiar with how these work. It's kind of where our day jobs either take us or lead us. 20% to 25% is almost always the first change order for change management and training.
Yeah.
I didn't see that explicitly line itemed in the 18 million of extras, so hopefully that's included somewhere, because otherwise you'll be back to us quickly.
That was one of my major focuses
Okay.
during this during the contract negotiations, was to avoid change orders and to
Right.
really hardwire every possibility into the contract, get the pricing now, and to make sure that we didn't have to go through that process.
But
so we had all the
do they
options
explicitly
available to
call
us.
out training and change management?
Oh,
Because
yes.
that's just
Yes.
Yes.
always the forgotten item. That's
Yes.
It's like an episode of Columbo. He's right back in the room 5
Yes.
minutes later for a change order.
Yeah, we're
So,
going over the
yeah.
top with training, I think
Okay.
more than we've ever had before.
Okay.
And then we also have an optional, not optional, but it's a $5 million contingency to address anything that was not covered in the 1,000 lines of functional requirements that we're going to be implementing.
You
And
replace
that contingency's in the cost.
in the
Yes.
contract.
Correct.
The 58 million is the max,
Includes.
with the $10.5 million for options, and the $5 million for.
If I read this list correctly, you're replacing 36 other systems with this, some of which go back to, when dinosaurs
Yes.
roamed
That's
the
correct.
universe.
Yes.
And
Antiquated is not
yeah.
enough of a word.
Yeah,
Correct.
the bolt-ons.
offsetting savings, I assume you would imagine in the out years, but you haven't done anything where you've expected huge savings in the first couple of years in your budget.
I have, no.
That would be,
No, I mean,
That was
the-
naive.
Shutting down all the systems that attach to it
Yeah.
in order to run NIFs now, in order to report out of NIFs now, will have cost savings.
down the road, but
Down the road.
as you're doing it, you're actually going to have overtime for your finance team to work on this and get the books closed on the old system.
what we're looking to do
Right.
is we proposed a plan, and we are working with the administration in order to hire 16 what we call backfills for the functional leads and subject matter experts.
Good.
So we're looking for the administration to provide us, if not on a full-time basis, close to full-time basis during the first 2 years of the project with the experts. The experts are going to come on board. The backfills will then go into their areas and then hopefully hold down the fort until the end of the project when they come back.
Is the $8.5 million separate from the $5 million of contingency, the potential savings?
Well, it's all bundled into one. Not really, it's all part of the 58 million. If we can implement this by January 2027, the price goes down by 8.5 million because that's less time over the.
So it is separate from the $5 million of
Well,
contingency?
it's separate from the 5 million insofar
Oh,
as.
no, I
yes,
understand
we
it's
can
part,
access the 5 million.
it's all part of the lump
yes.
sum, but
Yes.
it is a separate line item.
Yeah, yes,
That
yes, I'm sorry,
if you
misunderstood.
don't
Yes.
use it, it comes back to the county.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct? And it is separate from the savings of the
Correct.
$8.5 million?
That's
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
And there's going to be a governance process in order to determine where we're going to spend that $5 million, if we spend it.
Decommissioning 36 separate systems, January 27, 28 maybe. I mean, it takes a while, right? This is not you're not turning a speedboat here. You're
Correct. This is
turning
a
a
substantial
barge.
project that's taking time and effort and expertise. That's correct.
Correct.
I don't have any further questions.
Are there any other questions on the part of the board?
Nope, I'm
Seeing
good.
none, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, directors, Evan, thank
We
you.
appreciate your participation.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to?
I'll move to
I'll second
approve.
it.
Okay, who's Mo? And Chris seconded?
Yeah.
Any further comments on the part of the board? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Martha, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be. Thank you.
Tell Elaine we send our regards.
I will indeed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next, Martha.
Thank you very much.
Where's Martha?
I'm
She's
here.
there.
Oh, I'm sorry. You snuck up on me.
I'll get her a box.
I was sitting over there. I decided to.
Okay, we've got the Welkin Mechanical.
Okay, the following contracts are all with the Department of Public Works. The first item will be Welkin Mechanical LLC, NIFA number 52124. The contract's term is 1,656 consecutive days from the notice to proceed, and its value at approximately $43.2 million. This is a general construction service for the Cedar Creek Water Pollution Control Plan Secondary Treatment Improvement Project. We do have representative of DPW if there's any technical questions on this contract.
You want to take them, we should take them separately, Martha?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions on the part of the board? Okay.
We've only because we've approved other Cedar Creek related spending. This is part and parcel of an overall program, or
Who from DPW is to talk about that?
a couple of times this year.
Karen, can you come up, please?
Yeah, somehow that should be scheduled.
Hi, Karen Fay, Sanitary Engineer 3 with DPW. So the question was relative to, you've seen other projects relative to Cedar Creek plant upgrades. These final settling tanks, 6 of them were last upgraded 26 years ago. The other 6 were built 35 years ago. So we're in
Considering
need of...
what's in them, we'd like them to be secure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
You're not doing pelletization, though, right?
No pelletization.
Okay.
Then we're not going to get arrested again. We did 30 years
Remember
ago.
that?
Protesting that. Anyway,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
With Fred Perola.
That's right.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Do I hear a motion to adopt the contract? Chris, I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next, Banker Construction.
Banker Construction Corporation, NIFA item 522-24. The term of the contract is 3 years from the commencement day with 2 one-year renewal option and is valued at $10 million. Funding includes the renewal option. This actually is going to be funded out of the operating fund. The work to be performed under this contract includes maintenance and repair of water mains and related items at various locations in Nassau County. Services are provided on an as-needed basis.
And is this standalone, or is this one of the panelists? Like we've engaged a number of $10 million contracts for them to have a variety.
This is, I believe, a
This is
standalone. Yes, yes.
Any questions on the part of the board? Are we seeing none? Do I hear a motion to accept the contract?
We'll move.
Okay, Mo, I'll second it. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. AECom.
AECom USA Inc., and NIFA item 508-24. This is actually part of a panel of vendors. The county awarded a contract to the top 10 firms that submitted proposals for on-call services for the highway, bridges, construction unit in the Department of Public Works. 9 contracts have been approved by this board on May 23rd, on the meetings on May 23rd, July 9, and September 24 of this year. The contract is valued at $5 million and has a term of 3 years from the commencement date with up to 2 one-year renewal option. Funding includes all allowable extensions. If there are any questions.
Was this competitively bid, Martha?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Any questions on the part of the board? Seeing none, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Mo?
Second.
Lester, second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Now, the next item is the multi-year plan / 2025 budget. Evan, do you want to start off?
Yeah.
So, Evan's going to give a brief presentation, and then we'll take comments from the board and a vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'll just lay out kind of the timeline, if you will. On October 30th, the county legislature adopted a multi-year financial plan for 2025 through 28, the first year of which is the 2025 budget. And they did so without any amendment of the administration's proposed multi-year financial plan. Consequently, the adopted financial plan that is before the directors for approval tonight is identical to the proposed plan that we analyzed previously and discussed in our October 22nd staff report. Just to remind everyone, in that report, we acknowledge that the county's near-term finances are in a better position today than they have been in recent years. However, we also identified a series of significant forward-facing risks that in aggregate are multiple times the 1% deficit threshold, requiring a control period in each year of the financial plan. As some of our friends in the county have declared, not all of NIFA's concerns will materialize. I don't disagree. We're not alone in conducting this imperfect exercise of analyzing county budgets. However, our responsibility as an oversight monitor is to base our projections on conservative revenue and expenditure assumptions that also reflect the explicit spending decisions articulated by the county and codified in the budget as appropriations. Interestingly, kind of on a side note, despite best efforts by OMB, the county's actual revenues and expenditures for any given year have typically varied markedly from some of their assumptions used to craft their respective adopted budgets, just to underscore the difficulty in nailing those projections. That said, it's kind of a lot of outside noise that's regarding our projections, which is really a distraction from the key fact that the multi-year plan includes $30 million in fund balance each year to fund the operating budget. The problem with that decision is that fund balance is not revenue. It's not a revenue source under generally accepted accounting principles. This is a fact that is not in dispute. Consequently, the adopted multi-year plan contains annual GAAP deficits between revenues and expenditures, even if all the county's other financial assumptions are correct. Although the October 22nd staff report stressed this point, and the directors publicly urged the county legislature to address the deficiency as it relates to both the county charter and the NIFA statute during their adoption process, they did not. So we sit here today with a financial plan for 2025 through 2028 that is in violation of the NIFA Act, and we recommend that you, the directors, direct the county to remediate the deficiency in a revised submission, which could then be considered for approval at the next NIFA meeting, which is tentatively scheduled for December 19th. In addition, the state was recently informed by lawyers representing the Nassau Healthcare Corporation that the hospital denies any responsibility for funding the county's non-federal share of the disproportionate share and UPL program payments applicable to NHCC. This is at odds with public statements made by both NHCC and the county in numerous legal official documents. However, the hospital's new position could transfer tens of millions of dollars of costs annually to the county. Consequently, we also recommend that the county be directed to prepare and deliver a gap closing plan that addresses the additional risks to the adopted multi-year plan caused by NHCC's denial of responsibility for these costs. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, Evan. Let me just summarize stuff and then ask for comments from the board. So the resolution that is before the board tonight gives the county, and when I say the county, it's really the county legislature, although obviously the administration is involved in this, 2 weeks to correct the main deficiency in the multi-year plan and the budget, which is not using GAAP principles and accounting principles and including fund balance as a revenue source for the next 4 years, including the 2025 budget year. I want to make it clear that both the county charter and the NIFA statute requires that GAAP be utilized, and therefore the multi-year plan and the budget for next year as it stands is not legal. And I think it is very difficult to ask NIFA to approve a document that it violates both the county charter and the NIFA statute. Just so it's on the record, I have reached out and spoken to the majority leader and the minority leader of the legislature and communicated what our concerns are. We are directing the legislature over the next 2 weeks in whatever way they seem fit to correct the gap deficiencies that currently exist. I want to make it clear that if that is not done to our satisfaction at our next meeting, which is tentatively scheduled for December 19th, we will reject the budget and impose our own plan or avail ourselves of other options that are available. I want to make a couple of other points. This was obviously subject to a lot of review, and there are a number of other issues with which we disagree with the county on, and Rory and some of the other directors can talk about them. But I think it's important to point out that this is not something that we've sprung out of the air. This is something that was clearly included in the staff report that we adopted back in October, when we asked the legislature to make the appropriate changes, and they failed to do so. It may be that the legislature will have to have a special meeting if, in fact, they consider our directive. And I want to make it clear that, and I did to both Howard Copel and Delia DeRigi-Witten, that NIFA and our staff is willing to work with them to correct these deficiencies. And we hope that they sincerely work with us. We're not here tonight to start trouble or to cause consternation. We're not rejecting the budget. But if our directive is not followed, we will reject the budget at our December meeting and take whatever corrective action we need to take at that particular time. I just want to, conclude by saying that I think that, NIFA has a responsibility. I've been on the NIFA board twice. I served on the first NIFA board back in 2000 for a number of years. I was acting chairman for a number of years, and now I serve on the board again. And while there are always disagreements about, estimates, there can be no disagreement about the fact that this budget and multi-year plan violates both the county charter and the NIFA statute, and that's unacceptable in any form. And so I am urging my fellow board members to vote yes in this resolution, and I will call a meeting for December 19th. If the legislature and the administration and the budget director work to correct the problem, we will take it up at that time. But if not, we will reject this budget, and whatever consequences are a result of that, we'll deal with it at that time. With that, I'd like to ask Rory to speak, and then Chris and anyone else that wants to address it.
Richard, thank you very much for your forthright and direct explanation of the problem. I find it very difficult to take seriously, let alone approve, a budget and four-year financial plan that on its face violates generally accepted accounting principles, the Nassau County Charter, and NIFA's enabling statute by misclassifying $30 million in non-recurring leftover surpluses as revenue to make its numbers add up in each of those 4 years. How will the government fund the services and programs and personnel that Nassau County residents will come to rely on when these surpluses run out? And how could the legislature adopt such a budget without changing so much as a comma? This sleight of hand is emblematic, in my view, of the willful disregard for the fiscal cliff that the county executive is driving us toward. Nassau County ends this fiscal year nearly $60 million in the red, but for the one-time infusion of over $220 million in federal American Rescue Plan funding, based on our October numbers. Certain of the county's anticipated revenue is illusory, either dependent on future legislative action or favorable resolution of litigation, but so is the county's long-term revenue and expense expectations. NIFA believes that the growth rate of projected expenditures outpaces the county's growth rate of projected revenues in each of the plan's 3 out years, rising to over $330 million in year 4. And the county's financial plan ignores the reality that labor costs will rise with new collective bargaining agreements in 2026. Moreover, the county's reserves, bolstered as they are by the aforementioned ARPA funding, are insufficient to cover the entirety of the county's over $1 billion in current known risks and long-term liabilities arising from tax certiorari refunds, non-certiorari litigation, workers' compensation claims, and debt issued on behalf of Nassau County Medical Center. Despite this, the financial plan does not include a properly budgeted and quantified contingency reserve to cover deficits that arise. Indeed, the county executive has already induced a somnambulant legislature to pre-approve the drawing down of over $280 million in reserves to fill anticipated budget gaps, with no further input or oversight from the legislature necessary. We have no explanation from the county executive why any of this is okay. All of this was laid out in NIFA's October 2022 analysis. We haven't received any response to our analysis of the county executive's proposed budget and financial plan, which, I reiterate, the legislature adopted without changing so much as a comma. And until we get an explanation or an amended budget that addresses our concerns, I don't see how we could approve this budget and financial plan. So I will be voting for the resolution, and I encourage my fellow directors to do likewise.
Chris?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a lot to add to what our staff issued in the report, which we discussed at our last meeting. I was complimentary of their work. I think they made valid and wise observations about the county's budget situation, nor do the comments of either the chair or the vice chair, other than to repeat or underscore a few of the major points. One is that at our last meeting, we pointed out the technical correction that needed to be made. We let the county know that they needed to make the technical correction, that we wouldn't be able to approve the budget if it was not legal, and they approved it anyway. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for the position that this puts them in. And obviously the staff has done a good job of summarizing the current status of of the county's budget in the resolution that's before us, which I do plan to support for those reasons.
Thank you. Mo?
I would just add, based on the summary from Evan, I agree with the sentiment of the rest of the board members, so I will support the resolution.
Lester, any comments?
No, I think it's all been said. I totally agree.
Okay, having heard that, I will move the resolution. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, any further comments on the part of the board? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Just to indicate to the board that I will take the responsibility of, I have already contacted the legislative leaders. I will be in touch with them again, and I will certainly keep the board informed between now and December 10th of any action or inaction that the legislature and the budget office decides to take. With that, we've got one more item before we go into executive session. That's a consideration of the issuance of general obligation bonds by Nassau County.
Thank you,
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Oh,
Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, the item is consideration of general obligation bonds, the issuance thereof by Nassau County. These will be to pay for certain capital projects in the amount of approximately $64.97 million plus cost of issuance. The county is seeking NIFA's approval for the borrowing as required during the control period, and the amount requested is consistent with the county's proposed 25 through 28 multi-year financial plans, borrowing assumptions in the aggregate, and the associated debt service is consistent with the proposed plan. All the projects have bond ordinances approved by the county legislature, and I will note that any projected additional capital advances as described in the materials not advanced by year-end 2024 would not be approved for borrowing. county plans to issue the bonds approximately in the first half of 2025. But in order to be reimbursed for expenditures made by the end of 24, the county needs borrowing approval from NIFA before the end of 2024. It's important to note that NIFA's approval shall be limited to only those items or projects that are eligible to be capitalized in accordance with GAAP and have an original period of probable usefulness or useful life of 5 years or greater, other than for public safety vehicles, and that's the same restriction that we've had in prior borrowing requests. With that, you're being asked to approve the issuance of bonds subject to the terms and conditions in the materials and the resolution, and I'm happy to address any questions you may have.
And your comment about the age of the public safety vehicles, that's consistent with the last time we considered this and came
Correct.
to
So they
the
can
right
borrow,
number of years and the right kind of accommodation.
right, they can borrow for the public safety vehicles, but not non-public safety vehicles.
So that's,
All right.
so
That's
it's,
consistent.
it's a continuation of the prior discussion, not a new effect.
It's not, no.
Same policy. Any other questions on the part of the board? No? Do I hear a motion?
Moved.
Chris, I'll second it. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Okay, motion carries. I will now entertain a motion for the directors to conduct an executive session pursuant to Public Officers Law 105 to consider the financial history of a particular corporation and certain matters related to proposed pending or current litigation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Lester, I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We go into executive session. Just indicate to the public that I do not anticipate any further votes or actions by the board other than adjourning after executive session. You're welcome to stay if you want. I just want to say that for the convenience of those who are here. And the board, we will meet down the hall. Thank you.
And happy Thanksgiving to all.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, and our next meeting is tentatively December 19th. Okay, do I hear a motion to go back into public session?
Second.
No,
Second.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for December 19th. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Coming out shortly.